You're listening to an Anderson Entertainment production.
This episode,
we're thinking of a Fab Facts spin-off.
We're meeting a real bad boy in the Randomiser.
and our guest this week is Thunderbirds fan Martin Roberts.
Ooh, that's all coming up in Pod 157.
Do I hear 157? Do I hear 157? 157. Done of the Gerry Anderson Podcast.
I see what you did there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get started. Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
The Gerry Anderson Podcast with Jamie Anderson and Richard James.
And for our American viewers, that was because this week's podcast guest is Martin Roberts, who's from a TV show called Homes Under the Hammer, in which it was doing an auction thing. Anyway,
well, yes, I didn't think you'd have to explain it.
No, I think it needed a disclaimer.
That kind of ruins...
we have international listeners who won't know that show, but they soon will.
Yes.
So obviously there's a guest interview because this is the Gerry Anderson Podcast, and every week we have a guest feature or some sort of thing. But more importantly than that,
much more importantly,
we are your hosts
in order of importance
for this Gerry Anderson extravaganza in reverse importance order. I'm Jamie Anderson, and with me here is
Richard James.
Great, and over there in the corner is
yes,
we've got a special guest. What's she doing here?
Well, perhaps we better leave that for later. That's very odd, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a bit odd having someone in the room with us, isn't it?
I know. I feel a bit uncomfortable, and she's staying remarkably quiet,
isn't she? That's exciting.
Okay, well, we'll come to that later on. So at the end of this, hopefully, if Chris is somewhere, we'll be doing the Gerry Anderson Randomiser, where a random episode of a Gerry Anderson show is picked, and Chris Dale, the Randomiser General, will give us his thoughts and whatever other things he does. What does he do?
Comments.
Makes comments and funny thoughts and analyses and various things. So all those
observations.
Exactly. What else have we got?
Well, it's Pod 157 of the Gerry Anderson Podcast, and we've got all the usual, I'm going to say it, gubbins.
Oh, I've missed your gubbins, I really have.
I know. You're not the first to say that. We've got Fab Facts coming up in a little while, and I'm alarmed to hear from our introduction there that, Jamie, you might be thinking of a Fab Facts spin-off, but we'll see what that's all about. And we've also got the first part, I believe, of an interview with Martin Roberts, who you will know from Homes Under the Hammer, and Celebrity Mastermind, of course. We've got news from the Gerry Anderson universe, and we've got the usual fun from our Podsterons who've been emailing us at podcast@gerryanderson.co.uk. They've been joining in the fun on our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Podsterons. They've been hashtagging us Gerry Anderson Podcast over on Twitter and commenting on our YouTube channel too. So I shall be collating all their comments and reading some out a little later on.
Cool. What a relentless wave of positivity. I'm excited.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yes.
I know.
No, it's nice that, people are listening and saying things and we're not just talking into the ether.
Yeah.
Or maybe we are.
Maybe.
Well, Richard, the thing I've been looking forward to most of all, other than speaking to you to record this podcast, is, of course...
Yes?
Fab Facts.
Yeah, of course it is.
Now, time for this week's Fab Facts.
Fab Facts, everyone's favourite Fab feature, where I take a book of Fab Facts. All right, no giggling there at the back.
Sorry.
I take a book of Fab Facts, I flick through the book, Richard at a random point shouts Fab, which is my cue to stop flicking and read out a Fab story or Fab fact from that part of the book. Fab story doesn't really work, does it? Okay.
No.
Anyway, without further Fab faffing, here we go.
Fab!
Oh, gosh, I jumped a chunk of pages there with my sticky thumb. But
I won't ask.
Don't worry, because my sticky thumb and your fabbing have brought us to a rather marvellous point. Because today's Fab Fact concerns spin-offs.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yes. And in fact, the surprising lack of them in the Anderson universe, considering how many shows there have been.
Ah, yeah.
Well, several Anderson spin-off shows were indeed considered over the years, and there are at least 3 that we know about.
Are there?
Would you like to hear about them? Because that's pretty much what I'm going to do.
Well, I suppose we ought to then.
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's start with this first sort of kind of Maya spin-off, maybe to be produced alongside a third season of Space 1999.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's possible that had both of those gone ahead, Maya would have been removed from 1999 altogether to star in her own show. Believe it or not. It's hard to see how she could have been on Moonbase Alpha and also off having her own adventure elsewhere, but not impossible.
Prequel or a sequel, maybe?
Maybe she could have done both. Yeah, they could have been set at different points in time.
Yeah.
But the Maya show probably would have absorbed some of the budget from the third season of Space 1999. So instead of a 24-episode season of 1999, there might have been, for instance, 12 new 1999s and 12 of this new Maya show.
Oh.
The main source for this rumour seems to be none other than Maya herself, Catherine Schell, who says that a Maya show was at least discussed with her, and she would have continued playing the character wherever they wanted her to. But obviously, there was no Maya show, there was no third series of Space 1999, so sadly, none of this ever happened.
No, never happened. No, it's true.
So, something else that never happened. It's great to have a list of things that never happened.
Yes, it could go on for quite a while, couldn't it?
At least not until much later was an animated Terrorhawk spin-off, Zeroids and Cubes. Mm-hmm. Originally devised by Kevin John Davis, who produced the show's opening titles and closing titles, as well as Neinstein's video game by doing all sorts of amazing hand-drawn animation stuff.
Yes.
He did several other things as well, including the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy radio show.
Did.
This animated series would have featured 0101 and New Zeroids Brigadier Bill Billion and Space Sergeant 1000, aka Grandad, fighting Zelda's cubes. An all-new cast of characters including Cube Roots, Cube Ridge, and Femme Fatale Rudy Cube would have been included. Unfortunately, Dad and Christopher were not really that interested, so it never got made. Now, in 2015, we did do a little pilot with Dave Lowe of IDO or IDO Animation. I'm going to say IDO, which was Zeroids versus Cubes, which you can find on our YouTube channel. We did some bits and pieces there. Now, unfortunately, there were some personal circumstances which meant that we had to put a lid on things, and then, we all got rather busy doing other bits and pieces. But never say never for further episodes of Zeroids vs. Cubes, because it was quite fun. The final potential spin-off in our list today actually made it to the pilot stage.
Oh.
And if you're a Terrorhawks fan, you've probably already seen it.
Mm-hmm.
The episode Cry UFO was devised as a pilot for a potential Stu Dapple spin-off show.
Right.
Now, if you've seen the episode, it just about works as a one-off, establishing Stu's day-to-day life, his job at Andobo Record Studio, problems with the law, and of course his mother, Stuart, she said, something like that. Anyway, I didn't do the voice, obviously. But it's hard to imagine a full series of Stu just blundering into strange situations week after week without giving him a bit more of a purpose or a goal to work towards. Great fun as a one-off, but again, that idea never went beyond a single episode. So, there you go. 3 Anderson spin-offs that never quite made it, but it's fun to imagine them, and also other possible spin-offs. Certainly, the most obvious example would be a Lady Penelope show, or a Zero X show, or a London Airport show, just to pick some examples from Thunderbirds alone. But if anyone out there has any ideas for an Anderson spin-off, then do please let us know. Not because we want to steal your ideas or make them, we're just interested in your thoughts.
No, heaven forbid.
Because there are all sorts of things to prevent us making them anyway. So obviously, Richard, you would be up for Officer Oren, the spin-off series, or Space Precinct on Ice, which you've mooted
Indeed. I'm ready. I've got my skates.
Times.
I've literally got my skates on for that. I've booked the arenas. So just got to, drum up a bit of publicity.
Yeah, okay, fine. Well, I mean, there is another option here, because obviously your long-lost partner from that show, Beazle.
Yes,
I thought maybe it'd be more fun if we had a show about him and we could call it Beazle's About.
What?
Is that a yes?
Terrible.
Is that a no?
I mean, you'd have to ask Tom Watt, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be up for it. Beazle's About sounds amazing. The spin-off show that never made it. Until now.
Exactly. Now, that's interesting, though, isn't it? Because, of course, if there were, if Gerry was making all that stuff now, Of course there'd be spin-offs, wouldn't there?
Yeah. Well, it's very
Because
much the thing to do now,
that's the way
isn't
things
it?
happen. Yeah, that's right.
Transmedia, digital stuff and spin-off bits and pieces. It's all
Absolutely.
It's all in the pipeline for all the stuff that we're working on. I can certainly tell you that. So, anyway,
is it now?
yes.
Good.
So there we go. All sorts of things that might have been. I'm sure there are others too. In fact, I can think of a couple of things that maybe people don't know about. Maybe we'll cover them in a future Fab Fact. But until then, that brings us very neatly to the end of this week's
Spin-off Fact! There we go. Now,
Gorgeous.
Could we have a spin-off of Fab Facts then? What would that comprise, do you think?
Unfab made up facts? I don't know.
Well, pretty much like Fab Facts then.
All right.
Anyway, so we have, of course, been the recipients of emails from many lovely Podsterons and listeners.
Oh, have we?
At the podcast, yes, gerryanderson.co.uk. For example, Paul Hyde has got in touch to say, hi everybody, hope everybody's well and safe this Sunday. This is from the 30th, he's been very specific, 30th of May 2021, so a few weeks ago now. He said, I had a message from one of our much loved fellow podders, Doug, to say that I'd got another shout out from the one and only Mr. Paul O'Grady on his show today on Radio 2.
All right, show off.
I know, he's doing well, isn't he? He says, of course, I wasn't listening to the show as I was too busy moving my Ander shelf to a different place, as it needed doing, but it looks great in its new place. Who else has an Ander shelf? I love that. I bet people out there have a whole set of Ander shelves, don't they, I should imagine?
Yeah.
He says, I've listened lots of times this evening, and it makes the second shout-out that I've had this month on the Paul O'Grady show. They were very knowledgeable about Space 1999 and spoke about the Eagles and the special guest stars. And they both... they played both theme tunes and went on to talk about the costumes that were worn. Well. P.S. Doug tells me that he was sitting outside catching the nice weather when he heard the shout-out and nearly fell off his ditcher with shock. Now, that raises a question, doesn't it?
What's a ditcher?
Yeah. Do you think that's a bit of a spell check for deck chair?
I was going to say that
anyway,
might be an autocorrect of deck chair.
Yeah, that's
if
right.
not, then let's invent the ditcher.
Yes, let's do that. So that's from Paul Hyde. Thank you, Paul. Now, Hugh Porter also got in touch to say, hi, Richard and Jamie. I admired your accents at the start of Pod 155.
I'm so sorry.
But, says Hugh, that isn't how Australians sound nowadays.
Oh.
Unless you star in an Australian movie about crocodiles and living in the deserts of Australia, I'm not referencing any particular movie there. He said, I also enjoyed the interview between Jamie and Michael Shanks because he talks about how modern-day films are usually made out of CGI, and this is only my opinion here, but anything that isn't CGI has substance, except for New Captain Scarlet, because it has a backstory of trying to recreate a classic. By substance, I mean by how the shows were made, etc. I loved the interview also because I'm filmmaking as well and still learning my ropes around the more technical stuff. Also, I have a suggestion on the mix of shows. Yes, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago about mashing themes and TV series, Gerry Anderson shows and so on. For example, how Chris Dale made the Space Precinct with the Hill Street Blues. My version would be, if I had extra time on my hands, creating UFO with the music from The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I can see that. Yeah, that'd be nice.
And he also includes a progress update. My Lego stop-motion series, which is using the techniques of super marination, is still in pre-production and will most likely be coming out later in November 2021 this year, or maybe earlier next year. This is because I'm working on this with only me and my brother. That's all from me. Enjoy the week. Richard and Jamie, kind regards, Hugh Porter. Well, good luck with your Lego stop-motion series.
Cheers, Hugh.
Let us know how that goes. Yep, look forward to seeing that. And we also have Miles Parrish here, who says, Dear Richard and Jamie, when you read the postscript, you'll understand why I tried to curry Richard's favour with the billing there. Okay.
Right.
He says, I have my mum to thank for my love of all things Gerry Anderson. We saw an ad for the 2001 reruns of Thunderbirds and Mum got nostalgic. I saw Trapped in the Sky at a friend's house and boom, I was hooked. Mum was always very indulgent with our interests and there were 5 kids to indulge. What a patient woman she is. We're very lucky. Hashtag fab parenting. He says, yours is the first podcast I ever listened to. Oh, Miles, I'm so sorry. And he says, what a great place to start. You inspired me to give Terrorhawks another go. And after getting through those first awkward episodes again, it turns out I was wrong. I loved it.
Oh,
Good.
great.
He says, Stewed Apples is now one of my favourite Anderson characters. I'm doing Space 1999 now, Bring on Dragon's Domain, and I can't wait to get into Space Precinct next. Also, I was so chuffed to hear some of my comments in the Podsterons group read out as I reached the more recent pods. Thank you so very much. I love the group. It's my favourite online community, and I feel so welcome there. Thank you, Jamie and Richard, for your fun and insightful discussions and hilarious bants. Thank you, Chris, for your randomizer. I love the intros, and thank you all at Anderson Entertainment for continuing the wonderful legacy. Let's not forget, there's brand new Gerry Anderson stuff being made right now.
Too right.
Yeah.
Some of it was happening this morning, in fact.
I know, and Jamie and I were talking about it just off mic before we started. All the best from Miles Parrish, who goes on to say, P.S. I'm sorry to say, Richard, that I hadn't thought about Sir Gadabout in almost 20 years, but hearing it mentioned a few times in the early pods has reminded me how much we used to enjoy it as kids.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
That's lovely, isn't it? And the final one for now. This is from, Commander Dominic Riley.
Oh, yes.
He says, hello, Jamie, Richard, and the Randomiser General. Greetings from sea-fret-riddled Northumberland. I hope you're keeping well and safe. Excellent podcast with Michael, so informative. I have a merch idea in the same vein as Space 1999's John Koenig uniform. Could we consider a Space Precinct-style uniform shirt? Nothing like dressing like Officer Orin, Lieutenant Brogan or Haldane. Just an idea here. I love the part read of Terror from the Stars, but in my worst Hood impression, curses, I can't afford it right now. But looking forward to getting it eventually. Anyway, enough rambling. Stay safe out there and stay awesome, guys. Best wishes, Commander Dominic Riley, RN. I'm not actually in the Navy, he says, although side note, I did join after school, nearly. Anyway, I took up more than enough of your time. Not at all, Dominic. Thanks for getting in touch. Remember, you can drop us a line here at podcast@gerryanderson.co.uk and I'll read out your emails next time. But what are the chances of a Space Precinct shirt, Jamie?
Well, I've
got one already, of course.
Of course you do. You've got your own, yes. And you've got your own toilet multicom as well, haven't you? So
Toilet multicom?
Yes. Isn't that where your multicom lives, on the loo?
Oh, I see. Yes. I thought you just discovered a new function for it.
No,
but yes, you're right.
Sorry. Yes, so you've got your own. Well, I'm going to talk about the Space 1999 cosplays in a minute in the news because they've been causing us a few problems, but all will be solved in due course. So maybe, yes, once we've got our sort of new supply chain with manufacturing sorted out and the kinks ironed out, I'll certainly look into it. It's, I don't know what the demand will be like. Maybe we should do a little vote or something, but thank you for the idea.
Yeah.
Richard, should we leave behind some Podsterons as we head into the news and we can come back to them later?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm sure they'll wait.
Of course, they're very patient. So here comes some Gerry Anderson news. Well, Richard James, it's your favourite part of, this part of the podcast. It's Gerry Anderson.
News.
Great, that was lovely. You were sort of very meteoric.
Thank you.
Asteroidal.
Yeah, that'll do. No, I like meteoric. Thanks.
Okay. Asteroidal sounds a bit more uncomfortable, doesn't it? Right.
I think we might be back to the toilet multicom again.
Podsterons. Summer is sort of here and or staying for a bit, possibly. So it's a great time to grab some T-shirts. With lots of you asking about T-shirt deals. How about 2 for $34.99? Well, there you go. They're 20 quid normally, so you're saving a bit there. Just add 2 T-shirts to your cart at the Gerry Anderson store, and then during checkout, put in the code SUMMERTEES, all one word, all capital, SUMMERTEES, and you'll get about a £5 off the 2 T-shirts. Save yourself some dough, get a couple of tees. Lovely. Why not?
Yeah, nice.
Now, if you're listening on the day of release, that would be Monday the 14th.
14th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, a thing, 5 o'clock. Stand by your social media and your inboxes for a thing. Some cool news, which I definitely think you're going to enjoy. It's rather cool. Okay. It looks great. It's crystal clear. I can't really say any more, but yes. Yeah. I'm very excited, and I think you're going to be very excited too.
And is this what you were teasing last week?
It is what I was teasing last week, but now I know it's definitely being announced and put out there into the world at 5 p.m. on Tuesday. So
great.
Stand by for that. Space 1999 cosplays. Now...
Oh, yes.
Oh, goodness me. If you've pre-ordered one, I'm very sorry. I really am. Thank you for bearing with us. When we started this new license with ITV, which meant we could do these great things, we set up a load of new supply chain deals with people. So, you have to go and find manufacturers. If we manufacture stuff all in the UK, it's extremely expensive, and therefore things aren't commercially viable, and we can't do stuff like the cosplay. So we have to manufacture stuff outside the UK. These cosplays have been manufactured in Turkey via a very reliable supplier and a very reliable UK agent who we've worked with before. But various things have conspired against us. COVID, Brexit, the Suez Canal, blah, 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 blah. Loads and loads of stuff. And they've just been delayed more and more. Now, I do finally have the final samples in my hands here, and they are gorgeous. The extensive work we've done doing colour matching to original uniforms and stuff has really paid off. They look great.
Great.
Now, I am expecting them to land in the UK by the end of the month. So it's not that long, but it is a lot longer than we would have liked originally. So when I've got a confirmed landing date, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video and we're going to send it out to everybody who's pre-ordered a cosplay. So I'm going to show you the prototypes, give you a final date, and further apologise for the delay, because it's very frustrating for all of us, particularly for you. Yeah, well. But it is keeping me up at night, these delays and frustrations. So I can tell you I'm not resting easy while things are delayed. Anyway, there we go. Sorry about that. Equally sorry for our delay on Terror from the Stars, the hardback edition. We've been finalising things with the printers, doing a rather special cover, but that has given us an extra delay. We'll have a final delivery date on that. But if you've ordered the CD, it should be winning its way to you this week. Hooray! Something that is coming out.
Yes.
Oh dear. We just rest assured, though, that we are working really, really hard to not do any other pre-order type ranges that we are manufacturing that are made by Anderson Entertainment until we've got some more sort of confirmed timelines. So in that vein, if you like Captain Scarlet and you remember the confectionery Captain Scarlet poster off of the 60s, painted by Ron Embleton, a reproduction version is now available from Gerry Anderson store, and it's in stock and shipping right now. So there's no pre-order with that. It's I think it's $14.99. We're only printing a couple of hundred of them, and we think they're rather lovely. And it's from source art provided by Lee Sullivan, who had an original poster, which he's then just done some touch-up and clean-up on, and it looks pristine and lovely. So
he's clever, isn't he?
He is a clever man. So if you like some classic Captain Scarlet in your life, then just search Ron Embleton poster or Captain Scarlet poster on the Gerry Anderson store, shop.gerryanderson.co.uk. Goodness me. Oh, that's it.
Well done.
First Action Bureau feature length is out for Big Finish as well. If you want to download the feature length version, if you don't want the CD. Bigfinish.com for that. More soon, and I should have some more samples of 5 Star 5 for you very soon as well. And in fact, I've just been listening to the new opening title mix of Stingray for our upcoming Stingray release, which is sounding great too. So lots of things to look forward to, but for now, that's the end of this week's Gerry Anderson News.
That was the news.
Oh, Podsteron outro. How lovely.
Go. Thank you to Simpsons Clips, of course, for sending that in and giving me another week off, isn't that nice?
Your voice must be really, well recovered and raring to go for next time.
Exactly. That's right. Now, talking of Podsterons, is it time that we headed over to our Facebook group to see what they've been up to there?
Why not?
Yeah, I think we should. Just a few this week. Jonathan Westall, for example, posted, I've just finished listening to Thunderbirds, Terror from the Stars, and I utterly enjoyed it from start to finish. The cast was superb in their portrayal of the characters in the story, and the music and sound effects were brilliant. Great work from all involved, and I look forward to hearing what comes next from Anderson Entertainment, FAB.
Well, lots more to come.
Must be rather nice to hear all this fantastic reviews that it's getting.
Oh, it's lovely, I saw somebody tweeted about being blown away by the nostalgia, which was really lovely. That's what we're after. We just want you to enjoy it and have a nice time.
You will enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. That's right. Ian Clark posted, after the pleasant surprise of seeing Richard James in clerical garb in Stormbreaker yesterday while watching with my class, after having studied the text for a term, I can't help but wonder, with that delivery, whether the time isn't right for a complete live-action version of the Secret Service with the man himself in the lead role. Yeah,
that's certainly an idea.
Vicar. I could do that. Yeah, well, it's certainly an idea.
Yeah, great.
And finally, Emma Nichols says, we haven't done one of these for a while. Would you rather help Jamie Anderson on the farm or have a dance battle with Richard James?
Wow. I mean,
I don't know. I think I'd fancy a day on the farm, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty
as long
nice
as you didn't
on the
work
farm.
me too hard. Yeah.
Although we did
could
have
I just...
Ram Castrations Day yesterday, so maybe that wasn't the best day to come and help.
Yeah, probably not. But yes, a quick thank you to everyone on the Facebook group, particularly Luna for her live watches, and Willow for the quiz nights, and Simon Allen for keeping everyone's peckers up, and Tom Hodden for his wonderful games. A great bunch of people over on the Podsterons Facebook group. So if you feel like spending a bit of time in the company of like-minded people, well, why not join in the fun? There's a few questions to answer, and we'll let you in and introduce yourself, and I'm sure you'll all get along like a house on fire.
Absolutely. That is certainly a house which is very much on fire.
It certainly is.
Doesn't sound like a good thing when you say it like that, does it? But
no, I think we're underselling it slightly, aren't we?
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Cozy.
So there we are. Yeah. More next week, of course, but
yes.
That'll do for now. Yeah.
Oh, will it?
Yeah, well, I'm quite keen to hear from your next guest interviewees.
Oh, yes. Well, as you know, Richard, he is a mastermind after all.
Hey? What? Oh, is that Sacha Dhawan, you mean?
No,
I thought it was...
Not a fictional one, although obviously Sacha is very clever in person too. No,
yes,
a real mastermind, a celebrity mastermind, Martin Roberts from Homes Under the Hammer. And he was also on I'm a Celebrity, wasn't he?
Was he?
I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Yeah,
He might have been. I don't know.
He was. I don't think I'm making it up.
No.
If I'm making it up, that's a bit weird. No, he was on Celebrity Mastermind and he picked Thunderbirds as his expert subject. And he won.
Yay.
Otherwise he wouldn't be a Celebrity Mastermind, I suppose. So I had a great chat with Martin after initially offending him by saying that he had a replica puppet, even though it's a real one in his man cave. But let's hand over to Martin to chat all things Thunderbirds and Anderson and why he blooming loves it so much. Over to you, Martin.
Hi, I am Martin Roberts. You might know me from Homes Under the Hammer. You might have missed it, actually. It's only been on television for 18 years, every day on BBC One for an hour. But understand if you might have missed it. Honestly, sometimes when people say that, I'm like, what have you been doing for 18 years? And I also did I'm a Celebrity. And most recently, I did a very exciting version of Celebrity Mastermind. But more of that later.
Yeah, don't worry, you are not going to be under the spotlight and questioned here, although you are in a chair that looks quite a lot like the mastermind chair from what I can see.
Yes, absolutely. I've become addicted to the pressure.
So I'm not quite sure, actually, Martin, how I first became aware that you were an Anderson fan. There must have been something on social media. Maybe you retweeted something or had a mention of Thunderbird 2 or something like that. But you are, well, from everything I can possibly see in your office/man cave, you are a guaranteed Anderson fan. For the people who can't see what I'm looking at, could you just give a very brief overview of the things that might be found in your man cave?
Well, this is my office stroke man cave, and I guess pride of place. Or maybe I'll come to the pride of place in a minute. One of the things I collect is dinky toys and old corgi toys, and there's hundreds and hundreds of them. So I decided to specialise in anything to do with TV, and obviously, naturally, that drew me to my childhood TV, which I was born in 1963. So I am, I grew up with, your dad's stuff, from Joe 90 to Stingray to Thunderbirds, obviously. So when it came to sort of start this collection of toys, I sort of honed in on that, and so I'm delighted to say I've got a Lady Penelope car in a box, driving Fab 1, of course. And the most exciting thing about it, it still has the working rocket. Now, as you know, the thing that everyone lost, it still has it. And I've also got stuff from UFO. So I've got an interceptor, and I've got a Spectrum pursuit vehicle. I've got various other things. But as I said, my pride of place in my man cave here is actually an original Thunderbirds puppet in a glass case, staring down at me now, looking at you. Jamie, and actually, if he starts moving, because we are in the presence of you and your father spiritually, then we'll post that video,
and the value will go up,
and it will go viral. Wouldn't that be weird? Wouldn't that be weird if it suddenly started blinking or talking?
I'm going to be staring at it now.
So I've got Slim, a puppet who was and apparently there's the story. He appeared in 2 episodes apparently, because I think they reused some of the heads.
Lots of reuse.
And he was the reporter, I believe, in the episode where they moved the Empire State Building.
Yeah, Terror in New York. And he's definitely dressed as one of the policemen in Martian Invasion. Amazing.
And it's and it's so funny because I know there are fakes out there and the copies and whatever. When you see an original, you know it's an original. You just know because it's the color of the skin. It's unique, and I don't believe even the cleverest faker could fake what the puppeteers and the puppet masters and the props people did in those years.
Yeah,
because it's just 1970s, 1960s Britain. Probably by a lady called Marjorie. I don't know, but
that's probably a Mary Turner or a Christine Manville original, I would think.
Yeah, Mary,
quite probably. And do you reckon that came from a studio photographer? Was it Doug Luke by any chance? Does that ring any bells?
I can't remember who the story of it, but the person I bought it from, probably about 15 or so years ago now, bought it, I believe, from the studio photographer.
Yeah,
and the studio photographer, had grabbed it out of a skip. Yeah. Because we know, the story, right? That the stuff was all thrown away.
Yeah. Which seems so tragic now, but
well, in its time, it was like, okay, so when Disney made the first ever kind of animated Cinderella, I think, wasn't it? No, Snow White. Snow White. Yeah. Snow White was the first one. In those days, they would paint these immaculate things onto acetate, but then at the end of the day, they would wash them off. So you'd have these works of art every day being washed off. And it's similar with, breaks your heart, doesn't it? To think that all the sets, all the models, all the characters, holy crap, they were all just thrown into a skip.
I know. I mean, but they weren't expecting that 50 odd years later, 55 years later, we'd be talking about it for a podcast and, people like you preserving these things and enjoying them in the core of their man caves. They just thought, oh, well, that's that series done. Let's chuck it in the bin.
Yeah, no. Well, they didn't. It's interesting, isn't it? When you start out on TV shows or anything, you got no real. I mean, when we started Homes Under the Hammer, we started that. We filmed 10 programs. We didn't have we wouldn't, no way in a million years would we have thought here we'd be 18 years later still making the show, Exactly. And I would have done a completely different contract had I known.
More fool you, Martin Roberts.
More fool me. But and as you say, I'm sure the team working on it would have had a sense, and I've read some of the stories. They did have a sense that they were making something really special.
Oh yeah.
I think they knew, and the amount of money that was spent on it in its day made it what it was, which was, world class. And, it's quite interesting because I'm sure we'll come on to talk about it. But for Mastermind, I did have to, do a lot of reminding myself of everything. And I focused in on Thunderbirds. So I watched all 32 episodes of Thunderbirds, and I was interested to see how that was going to be, because I don't know if you've looked back at other childhood TV shows.
Yeah.
They are generally right? They were perfect when you were 10. But you look back at Rainbow or something, and it was great in its time and perfect. But when you look back at it, you sort of, it could have started, you're a middle-aged man now, so it's not the same. But I tell you what, I looked and watched through the 32 episodes of Thunderbirds, and it absolutely stuck up. It kept me engaged. They were all funny, interesting, so well produced, so well filmed. Just great television still. And that's such a you know, that's such an accolade to your dad and mum, really, isn't it? That they managed that. That here we are in an age when we're used to CGI and, you know, and multi-billion-pound, you know, things that keep, you know, whatever. That show with its puppets on strings, and rockets, you know, made of, you know, fireworks and all that kind of stuff, that it still absolutely stacks up.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because they created their own completely sort of contiguous universe for the puppets, that world. And because it kind of came to an end and hasn't been continually evolving, it's not like how comparatively CGI ages incredibly fast now, and older visual effects, which were kind of layered into a human world that we know and recognize. And so they look out of place to us now. It was perfectly formed, perfectly put together, even though there are some, you know, perhaps some mismatches where departments weren't talking to each other. It had a filmic sort of style and high-end, top-end quality to it that means it just hangs together, and it doesn't seem to age somehow. I mean, there are some maybe bits of dialogue and stuff which feel a bit clunky now, and, you know, there are quite often the arguments about how vehicle launches and stuff, they're so romanced with those kind of long, you know, minute-plus launch sequences, which you wouldn't have time for in modern kids' TV because they're all 11 or 22 minutes. So there's lots of stuff which kind of does put it out of time. But you're right, it's one of those things that doesn't disappoint when you rewatch it, which is why it's still going.
But when you're a kid, I think that familiarity, like the launch sequence of, or any of I mean, we're focusing on Thunderbirds, and there's 1,000 other things we can focus on, right? But we're focusing on Thunderbirds because you know, obviously it's very timely for me, and with it, I'm just doing it on Mastermind and stuff. But, you know, the launch sequences of the Thunderbirds, the Thunderbird 2, and, you know, the palm trees dropping down, and because it happens so often, you know, I never would look at that and go, I'm bored by that sequence.
No, never.
It's familiar by it, you know, and the whole sliding down, you know, and one of my favorite bits is the you know, the Thunderbirds getting to their planes, sliding down, going backwards down those slopes and onto an unfeasible little other thing, which they transferred and they'd swizzle round, and then they're actually being plumped into their seats in their respective Thunderbird aircraft. You know, it's just wonderful.
Yeah, the sort of willfully over complex nature. It is, but it's an Anderson hallmark, I think, and it is. There's so much going on and so much detail that you can look at something different each time. You could watch, you know, Thunderbird 2 coming down the runway and the palm trees parting and that little bounce they have and the way it moves along the surface. And it's like you could watch that 32 times over on its own and see something different and novel and exciting each time. Let's wind back to your kind of earliest Anderson experience. There must be things that stick in your mind from being a kid that got you hooked on this thing. And it means that all these years later, we're talking about it again now. So can you kind of recall your earliest Anderson impressions, memories, things that stick with you from childhood?
So, well, I've got my own kids now who are 11 and 13, and explaining to them that kids' TV was so limited and so limited in time that, you know, literally on BBC One from, you know, 4:00 till the magic roundabout at 5:45 before the news started, right? That was your window of opportunity as a kid to watch TV, apart from Saturdays it felt like that anyway to me. Yeah. And apart from Saturdays when, you know, there'd be a bit more kids TV and stuff, and then, you know, and the holidays when they'd put on other stuff. So as a result of that, I think all kids TV programs that you watch become, you know, really, really important and focused in your mind and the memories of them. So, you know, Blue Peter in its day, you know, and Magpie, it's you know, it's ITV cousin. So you had those things going on, and then you had these shows starting probably my earliest recollection is Stingray, and I can't quite remember the timings of it. And of course, it could vary because they might have put out a series and then repeated them or whatever. But I certainly remember watching Stingray at my grandma's house on black and white television, and being in love with Aqua Marina.
Oh,
And at the end, and there was that song, the Aquamarina, whatever the song was at the end of it. And there was always, she came out into the water, and it was, I just, So Stingray was probably, and I don't know about chronology. So I think it was Fireball, wasn't it?
That's it.
That was before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was Stingray next?
Yeah, Fireball, Stingray, Thunderbirds is the
right. And then so that was the first era, and then Thunderbirds. Just bear in mind that I'd never been to the cinema, okay, and I wasn't really into watching more adult things. It was the first, if you like, big budget, just blow your mind kind of like, wow. It wasn't, few people in a studio talking to each other. This was like a proper thing. And there were alligators, like real alligators attacking people in a swamp, and I can still, I don't know if I have the same cliched memories of significant episodes, but there are certain episodes, which, like the alligator episode, which probably, I don't know why that one sticks in everyone's minds. Probably because it had alligators, real alligators in it. Honestly, really, they were, weren't they? They were caiman, weren't they?
Yeah.
I seem to remember, and that was just probably the most horrifically frightening as well, because the idea of these, whatever it is, 50-foot alligators, because some mad scientists has stuck some stuff down there. Well, they didn't actually, was it? It was the place got burgled, but
knocked down the drain.
Some stuff got knocked down the drain. It's great. So I, that was sort of, it was like Doctor Who of the time. It was like hide behind the sofa stuff. So I remember, and I was. I was into train sets and things like that. So all the sort of modelling and I didn't really see it as modelling, but all that stuff, which I know subsequently was actually done from, it was model makers. Yeah. It was people using, model kits and repurposing those. But it had a sort of familiarity from model kits as a child, but not. Yeah. But it had taken it to a different level. Yeah. And so. It was magic in every way, and the whole idea of space, and then everyone wanted to be one, right? I mean, who didn't want to be a Thunderbird? I mean,
who did you want to be though, Martin? That's the question. Which, if you could only be one brother at the time, maybe it's changed over time, but then.
Well, I probably wanted to be Scott, and it's no coincidence that my son is called Scott.
Excellent. Very glad to hear that.
So. Yeah, I'm not sure how we would go down at school if I'd called him Virgil, or he'd probably get away with Alan. But I didn't know until I started just reworking. I had to do a lot of research for Mastermind. I didn't know they were named after astronauts at the time.
Yeah.
So that makes
after the Mercury guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like, wow. So I the idea of driving this huge, great thing and going out and, saving the planet and all that kind of stuff. It was, So that was that. And then, so the Thunderbirds was always and always has been and always will be the sort of favourite. And then, also, I think when it comes to kids' TV, you have a very limited window of intense memory.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to cartoons, it's Rhubarb and Custard, it's Crystal Tips and Alistair, it's The Magic Roundabout, it's, Noah and Nelly. And if you're not from my specific 2 or 3 year gap, you go, who the hell is Rhubarb? And I wouldn't have a clue what the name of his cat is. Do you know who Rhubarb's cat?
I know Rhubarb and Custard, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Custard was the cat. What colour was Custard?
Oh. Yeah. I watched it quite a lot. Was it Richard Bryars did the voice on it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I can tell you that, but I can't tell you what colour Custard was. Yellow, brown?
No. Podcasters are shouting there.
Of course they are. I'm always getting shouted at.
Jamie.
Come on, Martin, tell me what colour was Custard.
Purple.
Oh. Yeah. See, I've got no visual memory of it, but I can weirdly hear the music. That one, yeah.
What colour was Rhubarb then?
Oh, don't ask me that.
Oh, Jamie, come on. Rhubarb, it's a giveaway in the name.
Pinky, rhubarb colour?
No, I'm not going to have a rhubarb crumble at your place, mate.
All right, well,
bright green.
Yeah, see, that's weird, isn't it? I've got almost no visual memory of it. I could kind of see
there you go. How old are you? So you're younger than me, aren't you? Yes, you are.
I'm 35.
Well, there you go. You see, you're a bloody whippet. So you've got no. I mean, it's amazing. Look, I mean, I'm 57, so there is absolutely no way that. So you wouldn't. Wow, yeah, see, that doesn't make any sense to you, any of that stuff. But you would have your own little window of things that matter, that were very timely, and you might have been.
Thunderbirds transcends that.
Yeah, it does.
That's the amazing
Power
thing.
Rangers and stuff like that, weren't you?
I didn't really like Power Rangers, but certainly, I mean, there were sort of cartoons at the time were kind of X-Men and Captain Planet. It's very 90s kind of oriented.
Anyway,
I'm terribly sorry.
I'll let you off. Give me your whippersnapper age, then I'll let you off not knowing the colour of rhubarb or custard.
Thank you. Well, I know.
Yeah, exactly. So that was it. And then, of course, it obviously, went on to Joe 90 and stuff, which, I wasn't quite into, but not because it wasn't, I personally don't think it was quite, it didn't have the same thing as Thunderbirds.
No.
But
Captain Scarlet?
Captain Scarlet, yes, again, to a degree, but not the same. But not, again, because it wasn't good, just because it wasn't so much tied to it wasn't the thing that I really got into. And
yeah, sure.
It wasn't specifically my era. But yeah, and the music, I mean, you get, Barry Gray and all that doing this amazing music. And it's interesting. I used to do a university radio show, and I had all the songs. It's kind of like my backing music when I was talking and stuff. And blow me, Chris Evans comes along and nicks the idea, and he did that for years on the BBC One Breakfast show, didn't he? Or Radio One Breakfast show. I was doing that 20 years ago, bud.
What a copycat!
Yeah, exactly.
But he is a bit of a fan. He also owned the Fab One number plate, didn't he? So
did he?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
But I don't think he's got an original marionette though, Martin. So who's the real winner here? It's you. I think I recovered all right from that initial faux pas, don't you?
I think you got away with it, although
it
wasn't as bad as when I offended Peter Purvis in, where was that? Herne Bay, wasn't it, I think? Do you remember?
Oh, yes, that was a bit weird, wasn't it? Although not as awkward as when Nick Briggs offended Prentice Hancock, but we won't go into that.
Ah, right.
That was very awkward indeed.
Okay, I'm going to open this out. Podsterons, have you ever offended anyone from the Gerry Anderson universe? Have you ever queued for half an hour to meet Shane Rimmer or Matt Zimmerman? Or did you bump into Genevieve Gaunt on the tube one day and embarrass yourself? Let us know.
Yes. Yeah, there'll be a prize for the most embarrassing Ander moment. We look forward to that podcast at jerryanderson.co.uk. Anyway, thank you, Martin Roberts. Part 2 next week. If you want to find out more about Martin, you can go to martinroberts.com. Find him on Twitter at TV Martin Roberts, or on Facebook, YouTube, Martin Roberts 1, Martin Roberts TV. So yeah, you'll find him. Just search for Martin Roberts. You'll find him. Follow him wherever you can.
He's all over the place, isn't he?
Yeah, no. Richard.
What?
She's getting up.
That?
She's getting up. Marina's getting up. Marina's coming.
It is. It's Marina, isn't it?
I know.
Gosh, what's that?
She's passing us a bit of paper. Hang on, what's this, Marina?
Piece of paper.
There you go.
Well, hang on. Oh, how's your sign language, Jamie? What's she saying?
It's a bit rusty. Just make it out. So she says the note is from... What's that gesture? Oh,
what is that gesture?
She's saying it's from Chris Dale.
Oh, it's a gesture for Chris Dale. Yeah. I've been wondering about his absence. Well, go on, let's have a read. Pass the paper over.
Okay.
Oh, no, you...
Yeah, here we go. It says, Hi, chaps. Chris here.
Yeah.
Since this week marks the 3rd anniversary of the Randomiser, I thought it would be nice to mark the occasion by getting another celebrity guest on to press the button.
Oh.
Unfortunately... I couldn't find anybody, so I thought you two might like to do it instead.
Blooming cheek. That's typical, that is, isn't it? Oh, look, she's got the machine there, look. All right.
Right, well...
Right, so we've got to work out who's going to press the button, are we?
I mean, really...
Obviously, I think it should be me, really, as the senior...
Oh, well, I was going to say it should be you, but I was expecting for you to say it should be me.
No, I'll have a go out of the way and I'll just give it a press. I've always wanted to do this.
Hang on, what's Richard, what's that behind Marina over there?
What's what?
Oh, sorry.
Why, Iona?
I couldn't help myself, but I can't wait. This is definitely going to be a big one for the 3rd anniversary.
What are you hoping for? I'm hoping for a bit of Space Precinct. To be honest.
I would be happy with that, or a bit of Thunderbirds, or maybe I'd love a Terrorhawks. And
it's got to be a classic, though, isn't it?
Here it is.
Got to be a classic.
The readout.
What does it say?
And
it's what?
Oh, no. It's Torchy.
Oh.
Sorry, Marina, you're going to have to give Chris the bad news.
Good luck with that.
Do I have to? I mean, at this point, what else is there to say about this thing? How many more episodes are there? Oh my goodness. But anyway, you're all very welcome. All of you out there listening on the podcast, whether you're listening when this goes out or several weeks later, or ideally for you not at all, because then you won't have to experience Bad Boy Bogey. Oh, I wonder how he's been bad. I wonder how bad he's been. I expect he's probably, I don't know, not eaten all his breakfast cereal or something. Let's find out.
Big wind blew her and a lot of other toys into the sky, and now they live on a twinkling star.
At least that's what he told the police. Have I made that joke before? Probably I have.
He usually flies here once a month to see me. Well, perhaps he'll be here soon.
Oh.
That night, as the old man dozed in his chair, Torchy flew across the sky in his rocket and landed in the garden.
This looks like stock footage.
Mr. Bumbledrop didn't hear a thing because he was fast asleep.
Oh, there's Pom Pom.
Here Torchy and Pom Pom come in.
Ah.
I'll pull his beard and wake him up.
Oh, okay. Straight to the violence. Well, oh, that's a disturbing close-up. Thank you.
It's Torchy.
Who else would be tugging on me beard in the middle of the night?
And Pom Pom's here too. My little woolly Pom Pom.
No.
It's so funny for me to hear Pom Pom bark instead of talk.
I've never heard Pom Pom talk.
Then you should come to Topsy-Turvy Land, for that's where animals can talk and toys can walk.
It sounds like a hellish place, Torchy.
I don't like to leave my garden and all the flowers.
Ah, that's his excuse for not going again.
For you?
I'm afraid the children aren't behaving very well lately.
Oh, that doesn't sound like them at all.
Again?
Bossy Boots is all right.
Huh.
Bad Boy Bogey.
What does he do?
He's got a toy called Pongo the Pirate.
Oh.
He makes him walk along a plank until he falls into the pond.
Arrest him! Arrest him immediately!
There are so many.
That's so bad.
Children that I don't know what to do.
Making a pirate toy walk the plank.
I'll sing it to you.
No, that's okay.
Children, I don't know what to do. So many naughty children.
Just you, and you, and you. What,
They never say please or...
Yeah, this is just reinforcing the idea that the problem that Bumbledrop is facing at this point, this dilemma that he is currently having to endure, that there are lots of naughty children in the world, and that he is, he's struggling to cope with that. So this song just reinforcing that this is...
Smack them hard instead.
Oh, actually, it does have some solutions to the problem. Yes, I see where Torchy is coming from here. It's his own typical
Their madness and never care for toys.
typical response of just let's go straight to the violence.
Neck, they've dirty fingernails. They
Children are an abomination. I suggest the extermination of the human race.
ends of puppy dogs' tails.
Ah, the thing. Oh.
In the morning,
I think Torchy might have put the candle out at the end of the shot, but it did just look like the program had broken. Just sudden darkness. Oh, anything sudden in this show is very
Come
unsettling.
with me and teach him to behave.
I wonder what mischief he's up to today.
Oh yeah,
I look through the window and say,
maybe he's sending his spaceman toy into space.
I'll make you walk the plank. You can't move, can you? Because you're just a stupid toy. So
It would be funny if you came to life suddenly and I got my comeuppance, but that's very unlikely. Oh, he's thrown his pirate toy in the water.
Well, I never. What a little boy you are.
I'm not a little boy. I'm a little toy, and I've got a torch battery inside me so that I can walk and talk.
Mom!
Really?
not a nice game.
It is for me.
Yeah, and for me, actually. I'd quite like to see that. Yeah, we've seen Bogey before, I believe. His mum brought Torchy home when she found Torchy dead on the pavement.
And I'll go and tell Mr. Bumbledrop.
They're acting here as though they don't recognise each other, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that episode was after this one.
I'm going to take Bogey up to Topsy-Turvy Land in my rocket. No, you can't come with me now, Pom-Pom. You stay...
The less people I incriminate in this particular crime, the better.
Goodbye, Mr. Bumbledrop. Goodbye, Poodle.
Goodbye, Torchy. There, Pom-Pom, don't cry. I know you want to go, but I'd love to have you keep me company a little while longer.
Oh, he suddenly turned to the camera.
I can hear Torchy taking off now.
Oh. That prevents us from having to refilm the rocket takeoff during the daytime. What a wonderful way to save money.
Forget about us when you reach the twinkling star.
That's fine. Turn away from the camera, please.
Topsy-Turvy Land, the toys were playing in the lollipop field. There was Flopsy the rag doll, Whirly the humming top, and Daffy the donkey.
I don't recognise Daffy the donkey, and I'm not all that familiar with the Whirly the whirly top.
I haven't time. I've promised to be back at the Orange Peel Palace by 4 o'clock.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Oh, bye then. Oh, no, we're sticking with you, okay.
He walked along the road.
Well, kind of.
Suddenly, he stopped and brayed.
I can see the rocket. And that means Torchy's come back to Topsy-Turvy Land.
Sound the alarm!
Be surprised. Hello, Torchy. Who have you brought back this time?
Is it another child you've abducted from Earth?
Bogey, say how do you do to Daffy.
I'm not going to say how do you do to a donkey. I want to go back to Earth. I want to be big again.
You can't be big while you're on Topsy-Turvy Land.
Hence me saying I wanted to go back to Earth. I'm not negotiating the child abduction, I'm protesting it.
And where's my toy, Bongo the pirate?
Did you bring him in the rocket with you?
Yes. And when we landed here, he ran away.
Good gracious, where can he be?
Pongo the pirate was hiding by a bush near the river.
Yay. Looking very sinister. Is he going to do the song?
What fun it is to come to life.
Oh, no.
Never going back to Earth with Bogey. I'll stay here and be nasty to all the toys.
Oh, good. I'm on board with that.
But
Please don't look at the camera.
in case Torchy's looking for me.
Yeah, being a pirate, he's got an eye patch, so he's only got one eye, and it's quite wide.
I think we should teach Bogey a lesson first.
I don't want to be taught a lesson.
Shut up, this is none of your concern.
Nobody's asking you.
Which of his limbs shall we remove first, Torchy?
And I'll make you walk the plank.
No!
Oh, yes. Come on.
I believe this is before the last episode of Torchy we saw, which I think was the Naughty Twins, quite a while ago, which ended with Torchy taking the twins off to Topsy-Turvy Land to teach them a lesson. And this is, I guess this is kind of what they had to put up with when they got there. The donkey has basically just forced Bogey onto a plank. He's pushing him along by his nose. He keeps nudging him, and Bogey is clearly terrified.
I don't want to fall in a river. I'll drown.
It isn't deep enough for you to drown. You'll only get wet.
I don't want to get wet.
Neither did your toys. But you pushed them in the pond just the same. Go on now. A bit more.
The toys weren't alive until the magic evil of this place... Oh, there he goes.
Help! Help!
Actually, the water is quite a bit deeper than I said it was. Oh, he is drowning.
No, Daffy. I'm cold and wet.
Well, this donkey character is... this is our first encounter with him on the randomizer, but he seems He seems to fit right in with the residents of Topsy Turvy Land. As soon as he sees a human child, instant torture.
I won't hide cream buns in my bed. Do you promise to be good all the time?
He just promised not to hide cream buns in his bed. What more do you want?
Promise. Very well, then. I'll help you out.
While Daffy was helping Bogey, Torchy was still looking for Pongo the pirate.
Fancy having a pirate in Topsy-Turvy Land.
There goes the neighbourhood. I mean, really.
Why, there you are, Pongo.
Oh, he's got a banana.
Daffy the donkey is teaching Bogey how to behave himself. And as soon as he's good, you can go back to Earth with him.
How are you coping with your newfound sentience, by the way?
I can. Now be off with you and stop bossing everyone around.
Oh, I can see we're going to have a lot of bother with you.
Them's fighting words.
Oh, Pongo, but I'll have a talk with you later.
Good. Something to look forward to.
Going to have a talk with me, is he? We'll see about that. I had a terrible time when Bogey made me walk the plank. And now for a change, I'm going to make the toys walk the plank instead.
I wonder if this series ever actually rewards any good children. It would be a nice idea if there was a child who was really kind to their toys and they came to Topsy Turvy Land and they met their toys and everything was nice and happy and pleasant. Meanwhile, we have this.
I'm so wet and cold. Please take
Bad boy Bogey coming down with pneumonia.
Thank you today, Bogey. I want to see the other toys first. But you can stay in my pineapple house and I'll take you home tomorrow.
Oh.
Bye-bye, Daffy. Thank you for teaching Bogey a lesson.
Think nothing of it.
Any more children you need to bring from Earth? Just let me know.
To bed at once.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm nice and warm now, and I feel much better. I could almost be naughty again.
Uh-oh.
What did you say?
Oh God! Torchy actually raised his hand to him there. Bogey looks like he's got his head on backwards.
You're weak.
No, bother.
Oh, is that it? That's it. Okay, well that was Bad Boy Bogey. Didn't quite live up to the title. It's yet another child just playing with their toys, suddenly receiving instant, total, unconditional punishment for. Not a whole lot really, but we did meet a couple of new friends. We met Pongo the Pirate. We didn't get the Pongo the Pirate song, which you may know is quite something. And we also met, what was his name? The donkey? Thingy the donkey. I don't care enough to remember, but he was a fascinating new character, and more child abuse at the hands of Torchy and the residents of Topsy Turvy Land. So it's another typical episode of Torchy, really. How many more of these have I got to do? I'm going to be stuck doing this for the next 8 years. What toys did I torment in a past life?
Oh, poor Chris.
Chris watches it so you don't have to.
Yeah, but we did listen to him watch it, so it's almost as bad. Although, a bit of Schadenfreude, it's kind of nice. Anyway, what a gift for Chris's third birthday there.
I cheered him up no end.
It's certainly sort of half cheered us up. Anyway, I'm sorry for reaching out and pressing the button. But
that's all right. Yeah,
I couldn't help myself. It was so red and shining and inviting that I just had to punch it. So
it's probably the only chance I would have got to have had a press as well.
No, maybe for the fourth birthday or the fifth or the sixth.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
So, bit of Torchy there. No more, please. Maybe we'll see on the Randomiser next week. But that is the end of this week's Gerry Anderson Podcast.
Is that it? We've got there already, have we?
Yeah, so would you believe it's sailed by. If you've got something to say, it doesn't really matter what it is. Send us an excerpt from your shopping list.
That'd be useful.
Any 3 wishes if you found a Gerry Anderson genie.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Questions about Richard's favourite colour of shirt or favourite style of cufflinks. I mean, whatever you want to know, email us podcast@gerryanderson.co.uk or tweet us with the hashtag Gerry Anderson Podcast. To me, I'm Jamie Anderson, or him, Richard N. James, or him over there, fresh back from Torchy, Chris Dalek.
Yes, well done.
Thank you very much.
You did it.
I did. And also, please do leave us a rating and a review. It really helps. It helps people find us. And we haven't had a new review for a while, so
no one loves us.
No, but maybe they will after this. The desperation always helps. It's so attractive. Right, that is the end of this week's podcast. But goodbye, Podsteron. Have a lovely week, and we'll be in your ears next week.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
Stage 1 complete.
Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
Was that your Tom Baker there?
It was a little bit of Tom Baker creeping in there, wasn't it? Yeah.
Can you do any other doctors?
Nice. All right. How about this one?
Okay.
Jamie.
Ah, nice.
How's that?
Yeah.
That's all I can say. That's okay, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was my GP, wasn't it? When I go in and that doctor.
I was going to do another one there, but I'm not going to now.
No, please do.
All right. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
I'm still blind.
Oh.
No? Yeah.
Who's that?
It's not. Well, that's Peter Capaldi, isn't it? From the end of
sorry.
Oxygen, I think it was called.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
It's the law of diminishing returns, really.
Yeah. Gosh. That's...
Oh, you ought to hear my Peter Cushing.
That sounds like a euphemism, but go on.
Hello, I'm Peter Cushing. No? That's in his younger days, before he became an actor.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Just in his late teens, I suppose.
And I tell you, it's a very faithful rendition.
I don't doubt that. Well, I mean, award-winning impressions. John Coleshaw, better watch out. That's all I'm saying.
God, he doesn't listen, does he? No, of course he doesn't. No.
I'm going to send in this episode
Certainly
right
not
now.
to this bit, anyway.
No, I'm sending it to him now.
Oh,
dear
sorry.
John, you are out of a job.
Hello.
You have been listening to the Gerry Anderson Podcast. Wasn't it fun?
You have been listening to an Anderson Entertainment production.